Hey, what's going on, everybody? Get ready because the Rimfire game is absolutely on fire right now. These tiny .22s are piling bullets into ridiculous little clusters at a full 100 yards, groups so insanely small that centerfire guys are stopping mid-sentence to stare at the target. I've been shooting precision rifles for a solid 15 years, and let me tell you, the earth is moving under us right now. Today we're counting down 10 rimfire rifles that straight up refuse to be anyone's sidekick anymore. The rifle that claimed the #1 spot is literally changing how professional shooters train all across the country. Hang with me to the end, because you're about to understand why Rimfire just grabbed the entire spotlight and refuses to give it back. Starting us off at number 10 is the Savage Mark II FVSR, the undisputed king of gateway rifles that takes weakened plinkers and turns them into full-blown accuracy junkies without ever touching your savings account. Savage has been building bulletproof guns since the late 19th century, and they poured every bit of that hard-earned knowledge into this short, tough, get-it-done package that feels custom-made for backyard warriors and first-time bench rest fanatics on a real budget. What you get is a compact 16.5-inch carbon steel barrel that comes factory-threaded to the muzzle, so your favorite suppressor screws right on like a glue there, instantly transforming the rifle into a ghost-quiet varmint assassin or the ultimate late-night range toy that won't get you in trouble with the neighbors. The whole gun tips the scales at an incredibly light 5.5 pounds, meaning you can carry it through heavy cover all day, tuck it in a blind without thinking twice, or pass it to a new shooter who's ready to get serious about putting bullets exactly where they look. It feeds from a rock-solid, detachable 10-round box magazine that locks in with authority and drops free the second you hit the release. And that famous Savage AccuTrigger is ready to be dialed down with just a regular Allen key. No gunsmith, zero hassle. Delivering crisp, predictable breaks that build great habits from the very first shot. Slap whatever glass you want on the full-length factory Picatinny rail. Stuff it full of high-velocity bricks, and you'll watch those rounds land in steady 3/4-inch groups at 50 yards like it's child's play. Push it out to 100 yards with good match-grade ammunition, and those groups shrink to roughly an inch, which is flat-out absurd for a rifle that costs less than taking 4 people out for a nice steak dinner. Throw a suppressor on the front, and suddenly the whole package is squirrel in the garden quiet, lightning quick in close quarters, and so light you honestly forget it's hanging on your shoulder until it's go time. Yes, the synthetic stock can feel a touch hollow and flexible when you really lean on it. The trigger is a little heavy before you tweak it. The magazine can be picky about seating until it's worn in, and the barrel warms up quick when you're hammering rounds. But with a real-world price floating around $240 and often dropping even lower during sales, this rifle completely owns the beginner precision category. It's the one you grab when you want to jump into sub-MOA rimfire shooting without selling kidney. The gun that proves you don't need custom money to start smacking steel way farther than anyone thought a .22 had any business doing, and the platform that silently rules every big box shelf because it just keeps hitting when everything else is done right. Coming in blazing at number 9 is the CZ457 American. The rifle that walks into your gun safe and instantly turns every other .22 into a pool noodle toy. Imagine the scene. Golden hour light at the range. This stunning Czech masterpiece is drilling everything into one jagged little hole while your buddy's $1,200 custom build is throwing patterns like a drunk lawn sprinkler. CZ didn't just make another rifle. They dropped 7 decades of obsession in your lap. These guys have been hand-building bolt-action rimfires since the 1930s, long before any of us were even a thought, and the 457 American is the absolute pinnacle of that legacy. That 24-inch cold hammer forged barrel is the real deal. No smoke and mirrors. It shrugs off heat like it's allergic to it and keeps punching sub-inch groups long after cheaper barrels start wandering all over the paper. It's cradled in a drop-dead, gorgeous walnut stock that's fully pillared and glass-bedded exactly like a high-dollar centerfire. Yet the entire rifle only weighs a ridiculous 6.1 pounds. Carry it from dawn till dusk without a complaint and still rock steady off a wobbly bipod like it's bolted to a bench. The trigger adjusts from 2 to 4 pound with nothing more than a little Allen key. No trip to the smith, just clean, giggle-inducing breaks every single time. Slam in a 5 or 10 round detachable magazine. Whatever you feel like. And straight out of the box, this thing is flirting with 3/4 MOA at 100 yards. I'm talking groups you can hide under a quarter using plain old SK, standard plus, nothing exotic. The absolute killer feature? Change barrels in less than 5 minutes with 2 Allen wrenches. Quiet plinker today, long-range varmint destroyer tomorrow. Done and done. That 60-degree bolt throw is smoother than melted butter. So slick you'll swear you're running a semi-auto. Fit, finish, everything about it screams $1,000 rifle. Deep bluing snuggling up against hand-rubbed walnut, the kind of gun you'll hand down to your kids, and then they'll proceed to smoke you with it every time you go shoot. This is the true Goldilocks Rimfire. Not the cheapest, not the most expensive, but the one that makes entry-level guns look silly and custom shops break out in a cold sweat. Real-world street price sits right around $550, and for that you get the ultimate do-it-all rimfire for hunters, trainers, and Saturday paper assassins. Pros: heirloom-grade wood, user-swappable barrels, sub-MOA performance the second you open the box, action slicker than grease, and CZ toughness that'll be around long after your grandkids are cashing your Social Security. Cons: walnut can swell if you let it get humid, so keep that oil rag handy. The safety feels a little weird the first few times, and spare magazines aren't exactly cheap. But come on, for the cost of a nice date night steak dinner for 2, you're holding a rifle that owns local matches, teaches new shooters like it's been doing it for decades, and looks straight up sexy hanging on the wall. If Rimfire ever builds a Hall of Fame, the CZ457 American already has its own private wing and a gold plaque. Dropping into the number 8 slot is the Bergara B-14R, and if the word barrel means anything to you, then the name Bergara already makes your heart race. These Spanish barrel wizards have been crafting some of the most accurate centerfire tubes on Earth since 1999, feeding the biggest names and custom shops in the game. And in 2019, they looked at Rimfire and said, hold my beer. What they unleashed is essentially a full-blown Remington 700 clone that's been injected with pure Bergara magic, built around an 18-inch 4,140 chromoly barrel that's button-rifled and stress-relieved in-house to tolerances you normally only see on rifles carrying a 2x price tag. It's a dead nuts 700 footprint, so every stock, every trigger, every chassis in the entire Remy aftermarket universe bolts straight on, zero modifications, zero drama. That 90-degree bolt with dual ejectors and a silky plunger ejector cycles like a dream even when the clock is screaming at you in a match. It eats from budget-friendly AICS spec 10-round magazines that drop free with a glorious clunk, and the receiver shows up already wearing a full 20 MOA Picatinny rail, ready for your best long-range scope straight from the factory. The trigger is Bergara's own 700-compatible unit that adjusts down to a glass-crisp 2.5 pounds with absolutely no creep, giving you big boy custom feel without the custom weight list. Get on paper, and this thing is a certified group destroyer, routinely hammering 4/10 or better at 100 yards with good match ammo like SK or Lapua, and it's no shock that factory-fresh B-14RS are standing on National Precision Rimfire Series podiums while smoking rifles that cost $3 or $4 grand. Barrel harmonics are dialed. Machining tolerances are stupid tight, so zero never walks no matter how hot it gets. And because it's a 700 clone, the aftermarket is literally endless carbon stocks, folding chassis, jewel triggers, whatever your heart desires, it's out there waiting. All of this insanity lands at a street price floating right around $1,000, which in the precision rimfire world is basically cheating when you see how close it gets to true custom performance. Yeah, it likes a clean bore, and it demands quality ammo if you want those teeny groups. The factory stock is solid, but plain with zero adjustability, and the complete rifle is a hair over 6 pounds, so it's not the lightest .22 on the planet. Plenty of shooters yank the stock day one to drop weight or add features. But even completely stock the B-14R has bulldozed its way into being the #1 production pick for serious competitors who want custom accuracy without custom money or custom headaches. This isn't just another rimfire, it's a declaration of war. Factory guns can now run with the absolute best, and Bergara just dropped the mic. Sliding into the number 7 spot, we got the Tikka T1x MTR, the rifle that feels like somebody broke into the Seiko vault, stole the good stuff, shrank it down to .22, and said, "Here, go have fun." This finished masterpiece hit the scene in 2018, built from a clean sheet of paper to be the single most accurate factory .22 you could just stroll into a gun shop and buy without taking out a second mortgage. At its core is a 20-inch cold hammer forged barrel wearing that magical 5R rifling that absolutely adores match-grade bullets and spins them into the tiniest, most predictable little knots you've ever seen. That barrel free floats inside a beefy fiberglass reinforced stock that's got a full-length aluminum bedding block running underneath. So no matter how many rounds you dump downrange, the harmonics stay glued in place and your Zero never even thinks about moving. The whole rifle weighs an insane 5.9 pounds. Light enough to hump through the mountains all day, but rock steady when you flop a backpack down and shoot off it like it's a concrete bench. The real genius move is the action. It's a perfect twin to the Tikka T3X centerfire footprint, meaning every single stock, chassis, and trigger guard you already own for your elk rifle drops right on with zero tools and zero headache. Throw it in an MDT Oryx or a KRG Bravo and boom, you've got an exact clone of your big game rifle that costs literally pennies per trigger pull to run. Out of the box, the single-stage trigger snaps like a glass rod at right around 2 pounds, and that bolt glides on bearings smoother than anything I've ever felt. 60-degree throw, so short and fast it embarrasses a bunch of centerfires I own. 10-round polymer mags lock in with a satisfying thunk and fall free the second you want them to. Take it to the range, and it's just stupid accurate. Half-inch groups at 50 yards are boring with anything decent. And at 100 yards, it'll stay under an inch all day long if you feed it something like SK Rifle Match or Lapua Center X and don't flinch. This is the ultimate crossover trainer. Same grip, same cheek weld, same balance as the rifle you hunt moose with. Except now you're burning 500 rounds for the price of one centerfire cartridge. Real-world price usually hangs right around $600, sometimes dipping lower on a good sale, which is absolutely nuts when you look at the build quality and remember Tikka's out-of-the-box accuracy reputation is basically untouchable. It's become the default pick for hunters who want their rimfire to feel exactly like their centerfire, and it dominates NRL 22 base class where the rules keep everything pretty much factory. Downsides? The stock isn't adjustable for length of pull or cheek height unless you swap it. The barrel comes unthreaded, so suppressor guys need a gunsmith visit, and the mag release takes a couple range trips to run one-handed without looking. A few people say the polymer stock sounds a little hollow when you shoulder it, and the bolt knob could be a touch bigger for winter gloves. But honestly, those are tiny complaints on a rifle that delivers custom-grade consistency for production line money. If you want to train for PRS, chase rabbits, or just punch bughole groups without draining your bank account, the Tikka T1x MTR stands alone, the absolute best bridge between plinking and serious precision on the market today. We are officially halfway there at number 6, and stepping up is the Vudoo Gunworks V22, the rifle that rolled into the Rimfire party in 2018, looked around, and told every other action to pack up and go home. These guys didn't come to play. They came to build the single most accurate repeating rimfire system on Earth. And brother, they smashed that goal so hard the rest of the industry is still sweeping up the wreckage. It all starts with a massive stainless steel receiver machine to tolerances so tight a Swiss watchmaker would blush. Inside lives a slick 3-lug bolt with a 60-degree throw that locks up like a bank vault and cycles faster than you can say next target, feeding from ultra-reliable 10-round rotary magazines that snap in like they were custom-made for that slot. The firing pin hits hard. Dual extractors yank every case out no matter what. And Vudoo makes every single barrel in-house button rifle from 16-inch lightweight screamers all the way up to 22-inch heavy varmint contours. Whatever you need for squirrels or 500-yard gongs. Because it's a perfect Remington 700 footprint, you can run literally any 700 trigger on the planet. And the aftermarket is your playground, stocks, chassis, rails, you name it, it drops right on. Get it to the range with good ammo like Lapua Center X or Ely 10X, and it is surgical. 3/10 at 50 yards is normal, and at 100 it will not open up past half MOA if you do everything right. Pros in Precision Rimfire series and NRL 22 treat the V-22 like an aimbot. When they miss, they know it's them or the wind, never the rifle. Every single part is hand-fitted at the factory. That's why the bolt feels like it's floating on silk, and headspace is perfect the day it ships. It's built a downright cult following among hardcore competitors and long-range rimfire addicts who demand bench rest level repeatability in a package that still works in the field. Barreled actions start around $2,000. Actions alone about $1,600, which sounds crazy until you realize custom builders want double or triple for half the performance. The catch? Demand is through the roof, so you're looking at several months' wait. Sometimes 6 if you're chasing a specific contour or finish. It's a little picky with ammo. Feed it bulk junk and it'll still outshoot most rifles. But to see those true one-hole groups, you gotta feed it the premium stuff, and that adds up quick. The bolt knob is a touch small for thick gloves. Barrels don't come threaded from the factory. So can guys need a smith? The magazines are bomb-proof, but pricier than 10-20-second spares. And some shooters wish the factory stock options had more adjustments right out of the gate. Those are small prices to pay when you want the kind of brain-dead, repeatable accuracy that completely removes the rifle from the equation and makes every single shot about nothing but the shooter. In the rimfire world right now, nothing, and I mean nothing, touches the Vudoo V-22 when you're dead serious about precision. It's the undisputed gold standard for anyone who worships the .22 religion. Sliding into the number 5 position is the Ruger American Rimfire, the rifle that crashed the party back in 2013 and basically told every other budget .22 to grab a seat on the bench because the adults were now in charge. Ruger didn't just stamp their logo on some toy plinker. They built a legit precision machine that, over 10 years later, still owns the entry-level accuracy crown like it's glued there. Right at the heart beats an 18-inch cold hammer forged barrel capped with a recessed target crown that keeps the rifling safe and every single bullet flying dead true, no matter how many thousands of rounds you pour through it. The complete rifle hits the scale at a perfect 6 pounds. Light enough for a 10-year-old to run all day, but solid enough to soak up any movement and keep the crosshairs glued on target. The stock is pure genius with swappable spacers that let you stretch length of pull from 12 inches all the way up to almost 14, so the gun literally grows with the shooter. Hand it to your 8-year-old for squirrels today, and it'll still fit perfectly when they're towering over you at 16. You get your choice of flavor. .22 long rifle for dirt cheap practice, .22 Magnum for serious varmint smackdown, or .17 HMR if you want to reach out and tag prairie dogs way past 200. All fed by those legendary Ruger rotary magazines that lock in like a vault and never choke, even when you're crawling through mud. The Marksman adjustable trigger tunes from 3 to 5 pounds with the little tool in the box, and breaks cleaner than a lot of factory centerfires I own. Zero creep. Just a crisp pop that makes follow-ups stupid easy. That short 60-degree bolt throw is slick as ice. You can run it lightning fast without ever breaking cheek weld. And the Tang's safety falls exactly where your thumb lives. Positive, fast, no thinking required. Inside, Ruger's power bedding system uses aluminum pillars and a V-block to lock the action in place. So even when the barrel gets screaming hot after 5 magazines, the point of impact never budges. Groups stay identical from the first cold bore shot to the last. Out of the box, with any decent ammo, you're looking at 3/4-inch groups at 50 yards all day. Stretch it to 100, and it'll keep everything under 2 inches, plenty to turn soda cans into mist, ring steel like a bell, or drop tree rat stone dead. Real-world street price floats right around $400 and drops even lower when the sales hit, which is absolutely wild for everything you're getting. And we all know Ruger builds tanks that will be running long after your grandkids are cashing your retirement checks. It's the default first real rifle for new shooters, the king of 4-H and junior programs, and the one-gun solution for hunters who want to plink in the backyard 1 minute and smoke rabbits the next. Downsides: the polymer stock rings a little hollow when you shoulder it, kind of like knocking on a 5-gallon bucket. The mag release sits a touch far forward, so one-handed reloads take some practice. The barrel isn't threaded from the factory, so suppressor guys need a smith. The bolt knob is smallish with winter gloves. The cheek piece isn't adjustable without adding risers, and it ships with a 3/8-inch dovetail rail. though Ruger throws in Picatinny adapters in the box. Those are honestly tiny complaints on a rifle that delivers big boy accuracy for lunch money pricing. If you need 1.22 that teaches fundamentals, fits the whole family from kids to grandpas, and refuses to die no matter how hard you beat on it, the Ruger American Rimfire is straight up gold. Charging into the number 4 spot, barely missing the podium, is the RimX from Zermatt Arms. And let me tell you, this thing is what happens when bench rest wizards look at Rimfire and decide to break the price-to-performance scale in half. Zermatt spent years perfecting Remington 700 actions for the bench rest world before they said, let's make that, but tiny, and the result is machined obsession that makes grown men giggle. The whole action is carved from 17 to 4 stainless steel, nitride coated so it laughs at rust and friction, giving you true controlled round feeding, dual extractors, a plunger ejector, and a 90-degree bolt throw, so smooth it feels like the bolt is on roller skates. It wears the exact Remington 700 footprint, so literally any 700 trigger, any base, any stock or chassis on Earth drops right on, and it feeds from 10-round AICS magazines that snap in with a glorious clack. Get it on paper with premium ammo, and it stacks bullets in 1/4-inch groups at 50 yards and still holds 4/10 at 100, numbers that have custom builders sweating bullets. Tolerances are so insanely tight you'd struggle to slide a feeler gauge anywhere. Reliability is the kind where you completely forget the rifle exists and just read wind, and customization is limitless because every barrel maker, chassis company, and stock builder already supports the 700 pattern. Action by itself runs around $1,200, which sounds nuts until you realize you're stepping into the same accuracy club as rifles that cost 3 or 4 times more. Brand new bolts can feel a little tight until they wear in. Weightless can drag on for months if you snooze on ordering, and it flat out demands the good stuff like Lapua or Ely to sing its full song. But when you want centerfire level precision, centerfire ergonomics, and centerfire modularity while still shooting for pennies, the RimX is sitting by itself at the very top of the mountain. In a sea of clone actions and drop-in upgrades, Zermatt carved out a spot where pros and hardcore addicts fight tooth and nail over serial numbers. And once you put one to your shoulder, you'll instantly get why the hype train has 0 brakes. Grabbing the bronze medal at number 3 is the Anschutz 1761 MTR, the undisputed emperor of German smallbore perfection that's been stacking Olympic gold medals since the 1960s, when Anschutz basically invented the idea that a .22 could be a legit precision instrument. This isn't a rifle, it's surgical equipment forged in the same Bavarian shops that arm national teams and world champions whose entire career rides on 1/10 of a point. What you're holding is a 20-inch match barrel that's been hand-lapped until it's smoother than a mirror, free-floating inside an 8.6-pound all-aluminum adjustable chassis you can tune like you're setting up a race car. Cheek piece clicks up and down, length of pull extends or shortens in seconds. Even the butt plate pivots and tilts, so every single shooter from a 12-year-old kid to a grizzled veteran locks in a perfect cheek weld instantly. The famous Anschutz 2-stage match trigger is so ridiculously clean and light you can drop it to literal ounces with nothing more than a tiny jeweler's screwdriver, while that 60-degree bolt rides on 6 massive locking lugs for bomb-proof lockup, and cycling smoother than anything has a right to be. It feeds from a slick 5-round detachable mag that snaps in like it's magnetized, and when you get behind the bench with Ely 10x or Lapua Center X, this thing drills one ragged hole at 50 yards until the barrel is glowing red, holes literally touching so the spotter can't count shots. In the cutthroat world of ISSF 3 position and prone competition, the 1761 MTR isn't just another rifle. It's the measuring stick every other company is terrified of, the one you see on the line at the Olympics, World Cups, and every championship that actually matters. Yeah, its stickers around $2,800, and that number makes casual shooters choke on their coffee. But for anyone who's serious about medals, it's an investment that prints trophies. It's heavy as a boat anchor in the field. It laughs at anything cheaper than the absolute best ammo. And you'll carry a little pouch of tools because you'll be tweaking it, constantly chasing perfection. But when the final string is on the line and it's one X-ring between gold and silver, Your Anschutz just dropped to 10.9, while the other guy is staring at a 10.7 wondering where his life went wrong. If you're stepping up to shoot for history, the 1761 MPR isn't just royalty, it's the entire dynasty. Locking down the silver medal at number 2 is the Volquartsen Summit, the absolute pinnacle of what happens when you hand a bone stock Ruger 1022 to a crew of Iowa wizards who've been turning rimfires into race guns since 1974, when bell-bottoms were still cool. This isn't some dressed-up plinker. It's Volquartsen screaming from the rooftops that a semi-auto .22 can straight-up embarrass the most expensive bolt guns on Earth, and they built every single part in-house to back it up. Imagine a featherweight stainless bolt dancing inside a custom receiver that's been nitrided until it's slicker than ice, still running the same dirt-cheap 10-20 seconds magazines you've got piles of, pushed by a 20-inch match-grade stainless barrel, wearing an integral compensator that shoots laser beams. The laminated thumbhole stock isn't just eye candy. It's pillared and bedded like a bench-rest rifle, so the action stays floating no matter how hot things get. And the TG-2000 trigger brakes at a mind-blowing 2¼ pounds with 0 take-up and 0 over-travel. Pure lightning in a trigger guard. Get on the bench, and this thing sows 3/10 at 100 yards all day long, semi-auto, follow-ups landing before the sound dies, the comp killing every bit of muzzle flip, so recoil feels like a friendly pat on the shoulder. In NRL 22 and Steel Challenge Rimfire classes, the Summit isn't just fast. It's the unfair advantage pros grab when the stage demands 10 hits in 5 seconds and still one ragged hole on paper, turning brutal par times into a relaxing walk in the park. Complete rifle runs right around $2,000. And sure, that's real money for a .22, but every penny buys American-made insanity that outshoots customs costing 3 or 4 times more. It's loud as a jet engine without a can. It'll spit flyers all day if you feed it bulk garbage. And at over 7 pounds, it's not winning any ultralight contests. But when the buzzer goes off and you need plates smoking and paper shredded, the Summit doesn't just beat the field. It embarrasses them and sends you home with all the trophies. If lightning fast, stupid accurate shooting is your addiction, the Volquartsen Summit is the shrine where you get on your knees. And sitting unchallenged at the very top, wearing the undisputed champion's crown, is the CZ457 Varmint MTR, the rifle that finally made custom-grade performance feel borderline criminal at factory prices. CZ didn't just update an old model. They took 70-plus years of rimfire wizardry, from post-war classics to Olympic gold medal machines, and distilled it all into one absolute beast that dropped in 2019 and immediately took over NRL 22 like it owned the place. At the heart is a beefy 20.5-inch cold hammer forged varmint barrel that's been stress-relieved and lapped until it's basically perfect, floating inside a fully adjustable MTR chassis with tool-free cheek riser, length of pull spacers, and a rock-solid aluminum bedding block that laughs at heat and keeps zero locked no matter how many rounds you hammer downrange. The complete rifle weighs a rock-steady 7.3 pounds. Exactly what you want when you're shooting prone or off the bench, and every little twitch costs points. The trigger snaps clean and predictable at around 2,372.5 pounds straight from the factory, and that buttery smooth 60-degree bolt throw with push feed cycles so effortlessly you'll swear you're running a high-dollar centerfire. The killer party trick? Grab 2 Allen keys and you can swap the barrel to .22 long rifle, .22 WMR, or .17 HMR in under 5 minutes. No gunsmith, no headspace worries, just pure plug-and-play versatility. It eats from flush 5 or 10-round polymer magazines that lock in like a bank vault. And when you feed it quality stuff like SK Rifle Match or Lapua Center X, this thing prints groups at 100 yards that regularly dip into the low 0.3s, numbers that used to belong only to 4-figure custom rigs. That hammer-forged barrel shrugs off heat like it's personal. Point of impact never moves through long strings, and the chassis gives you full custom ergonomics without the custom wait times or custom price tag. All of this domination lands at a real-world street price under $900, which is straight-up disruptive when you realize a lot of so-called premium rimfires cost double and still can't touch this thing's out-of-the-box consistency. Yeah, It's a chunky monkey in heavy brush. Spare mags cost a little more than Ruger rotaries, and the ultra-hardcore bench rest crowd might chase a sub-2-pound trigger. But for 99% of shooters, whether you're hunting local matches, prepping for PRS, teaching the kids, or just turning every trip to the range into a bragging rights festival, the CZ457 Varmint MTR stands alone at the very top. The true people's champion that finally erased the line between factory and full custom. And there you have it, folks. 10 rimfire rifles that took a backyard plinking caliber and turned it into an absolute precision monster. From suppressor-ready savages that disappear squirrels in the dark to Olympic-grade Anschutzes that punch one hole for fun, every single gun on this list is an absolute killer in its own right. Rimfire isn't playing second fiddle anymore. It's standing on the top step of the podium, screaming at the top of its lungs. Drop your personal favorite down in the comments. Tell me which one you're saving the pennies for. And we'll catch you in the next video where we hook these beasts up with the glass and the ammo that make them absolutely sing. See you there.